Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video we'll be talking about habits that are secretly keeping you poor and preventing you from reaching your fullest financial potential. These are the habits that are keeping you stuck in the 9 to 5 grind, living paycheck to paycheck, even though you may be making a good enough income. So have you ever heard the saying, how you spend your day is how you spend your life? Do you want a life where you spend most of your day working at a job just to pay bills, grinding away, not having a lot of free time, and just repeating the same cycle over and over again? Well, if you break these financial habits keeping you broke, you'll be on your journey to building wealth, creating opportunities, and living the life that you truly desire. So, without further ado, let's dive in. The first financial habit keeping you secretly broke is buying a house that you can't afford. There's a common misconception that you need a house in order to, be well off, to be an adult. It shows to show that you are successful. However, this can lead you into a financial trap that will keep you living paycheck to paycheck, especially in an environment where the house prices has skyrocketed in the last few years. Most people earning a decent income cannot even afford a house right now. But there's some people that still go out and they look at how much they make. They're like, okay, I make a decent amount, I make 100,000, and end up buying $1 million worth of house. And this is a trap that will keep you in your 9 to 5 job, keep you just working to pay the mortgage. It's nice to have the house, but it's actually a bad habit that is just keeping you stuck in a situation where you actually truly don't get to live the life that you truly want to live. You don't have the option or the freedom to say you want to switch jobs or take time off, and you don't have any means in your budget to save and put money away and to invest. So this is a habit that keeps a lot of people broke, and it's okay to rent. Renting is not bad. House ownership is not for everyone, and it's not for most people, especially nowadays. So renting and paying a fraction of the cost that you'd pay each month for your mortgage payment is actually a smart financial decision, because say for example, instead of paying $4,100 or $4,500 on a mortgage, if you can pay $2,300 a month, you'll be saving a lot of money that you can use to, save, invest. You'll have a cushion. So if a situation comes up where you need to take time off work, or if your boss is just not being too nice, then you have the option and the freedom of, pivoting. Whereas if you are stuck in a mortgage that you can't afford in the first place, this will lead you to being unhappy and living a small life, and it will keep you stuck in the trap of working just to pay the bills, and that's not a good life to live. So let's talk about what you can do. So I did mention that you could rent, so that's one option. But if you still think home ownership is something that's important to you and you want to take that route, I would suggest that you should consider house hacking. So that is if you have multiple rooms and you rent it out to someone or multiple people, or you can consider owning a home with a basement apartment so that you and your family can live on the upstairs, and then another family can live in the basement and offset the price of your mortgage. And you get the best of both worlds, where you're able to own a home but not pay the full price. And that's a smart move too, if that's something that you wanted. So rule number one in a habit that's keeping you financially broke and strapped to your 9 to 5 job is owning a home that you truly can't afford and you truly shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So let's move on to rule number two. The second thing keeping you broke is spending money on material items. When I first got my big girl job in my 20s, I saved a lot of money, but I also spent a lot of money on things that I didn't really need. The things that I purchased brought me joy in the moment, but they weren't good quality. I actually wore them like once or twice, and they like stayed in my closet, and the material literally disintegrated because the quality wasn't good. They didn't really bring me joy. They ended up cluttering my house, and I had to give them away, or I'd purchase a expensive earring and just wear it and feel happy about it actually for a few weeks, and then it'd be like in my jewelry box, and I moved on to the next thing. So really think about what you're spending your money on, especially nowadays where it's so easy to purchase things online, or where for example, the Temu app, where you can shop like a billionaire and buy a lot of unnecessary items that are just like poor quality. So really think about the things that you spend money on, like the material things, because they truly add up. So what you should do is to think about the things that you're purchasing and buy high quality items that are versatile pieces so that you can wear them multiple times. Even though you may be spending a lot of money up front, it will work out in the long run. So the second tip is shop secondhand, such as shopping on Facebook Marketplace or shopping at a thrift shop. You can find a lot of good quality items at a fraction of the price on places such as Facebook Marketplace. If you have a baby, you can find a lot of like secondhand items such as the crib, the swing. So things that would cost you like $500, you can literally get for $50 or $100 on Facebook Marketplace. And a lot of these things you can, sanitize and wash pretty well to get it ready for your baby. The third tip is waiting. So when you think you need something, wait 48 hours, wait 2 days before going through with the purchase. Sometimes you can even add it to the cart. If you're shopping online, add it to the cart and leave it there for 2 days, and that will give you a time to think about whether or not you truly want to purchase the item. And sometimes if you add items to your cart on certain stores, they will send you a reminder to purchase the item, and they will actually try to give you a discount as an incentive to go back and purchase the item. The other tip is creating barriers to impulse shopping. So what I would suggest is do not put your credit card information on your phone, like connected to a store, or for example, if you're shopping online, it's so easy to click on PayPal and pay right away. Try to create a barrier by not putting your credit card or your payment information on your phone or on the computer, because this will create like a little bit of struggle to have you think twice whether or not you really want to purchase the item. Because really, if you're scrolling through your phone or you're scrolling on the computer late at night and you see something that you truly want, do you really want to get up and grab your purse and get your card to purchase the item? By separating or removing your credit card from the common places that you purchase things, it will create a little bit of a barrier to prevent you from easily purchasing the item. The third habit keeping you financially broke is overspending money on groceries and fast food. So according to research, the average American eat out approximately 3 times per week and spend approximately $300 a month on fast food. If you invested $300 a month in an index fund tracking the S&P 500 with a 7% rate of return over 25 years, you would have saved approximately $272,000 over that time just by saving that money and investing that money. Fast food really adds up, and sometimes we eat out because it provides us with like emotional comfort, or we associate fast food with something in our childhood that brings back good memories. But we really need to be conscious of that and really try to break that habit. So what can you do to break the habit of eating fast food all the time? One thing that works for me pretty well is meal prepping. Where I used to cook 1 or 2 meals and cook a huge batch of it, and then I'd get really tired or bored of eating the same thing over and over. So what I've recently started to do is, make small amount of foods, of different types of food, so that it will last me, throughout the week while I'm working, and, I don't get bored of it, and I'm not tempted to eat out as much. The second thing is that when you're doing grocery shopping in person, shop at the outer edges of the store, and this is where you typically will find your essential items such as your fruit, your vegetables, your meat, and milk, for example. But once you start going in between the aisles, you end up buying like junk food or food that you don't necessarily need, inflating your grocery bill. I would also recommend going with a list of things that you need to purchase so that you don't get sidetracked in buying something else. The third thing is limiting your trips to the grocery store. So when I used to run out of something, I used to go to the store and purchase it, and then I ended up buying like $80 worth of items. Or for example, like I run out of eggs, like I like organic eggs from Costco. I'd run out of eggs, I go to Costco and buy a pack of eggs, and then I ended up spending $300 on things that I didn't know I needed. So what I've started to do now is to go to these wholesale stores such as Costco, Walmart. If I need something, go once a month. If I feel like I need to purchase something in between, I just get it from my regular grocery store. I wouldn't go to Costco just to get one item, because I know that's a trap in me spending more money than I actually really needed. Another habit that's keeping you broke is spending money on things such as books. So this could be online books or physical books. So I typically read about 2 books per month, and I never spend money purchasing these books. So if you have a library card, you can actually get the books that you're interested in for free. So what you do is, you have the membership. There is an online platform called Libby, there might be different platforms out there, and then you just search the book that you need and download it. Sometimes it may take a few weeks to get the books that you need, especially if the book is very popular, but that's okay. So this is one tip that I use to save a lot of money on books, rather than subscribing to what are these book services, Audible, and a library card, and gain access to online ebooks and audiobooks, and save a lot of money on subscriptions. The 5th habit keeping you broke is unused subscription. Most of us sign up for at least 4 apps, and some of them we barely even use or even forgot that we signed up for it. So my tip would be to take a moment to review your bank statement and look in the last 1 to 2 months to see what you're actually paying for. Look to see if there's any subscription. Ask yourself, do I use this? How often do I use this per month? If you access these subscriptions once or twice, it may not be worthwhile keeping them, and you can save a lot of money. This also applies to recurring bills such as your phone bill, your internet bill, and your insurance. One thing that I do at least once a year is call my provider, for example, my phone provider, and ask for a discount, or ask if there's anything that they can do to reduce the price of your monthly bill. What I typically say is, hello, my name is Tiffany. I'm interested in reviewing my monthly bill. Right now, I don't think I can pay for it at this rate. So is there anything that you can do for me, being a loyal customer? 9 out of 10 times, they're able to reduce my bill by a significant amount, saving me a lot of money. So I think you should give that a try. So the next thing in cutting cost is look for seasonal promotions such as Black Friday sale, Boxing Day sale, or going back to school. You typically can find really good rates on phone bill, internet service during that time. So that might be a great time to shop for these services and save a lot of money. So the 6th habit keeping you broke is overspending on your vehicle. One of the biggest recurring expenses that keep people broke is the money that they spend on their vehicle. Have you ever heard the saying, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people that we don't like? And I think a lot of people unfortunately fall into this category. So this habit can drain your bank account, because when you purchase a vehicle, you look at the amount of money that you're paying monthly versus looking at the opportunity cost. So if you had purchased a vehicle that is lower in price, you could have actually saved that money, invested that money, and would have prevented you from, spending hours working in a job that you don't like and living a better life. So what can you do to avoid this trap? So tip number 1, buy a used vehicle, at least 3 years old with good mileage. The second tip is pay the vehicle off in full if you can, but if not, you should pay a large down payment to avoid the amount of money that you'd have to pay on interest over time. And the third tip is avoid the temptation of upgrading your vehicle or purchasing a new vehicle because of a life-changing event. So typically when people have a new job, they often find it as an incentive that, okay, maybe I'm making more, maybe I can purchase a vehicle that is more, that costs more, that looks better. Or if I'm in a new role, such as a manager role, I deserve this really nice BMW. So try and avoid those traps. And also another common trap is like your family expanding, which, you know, it's fair to say, but if you have 1 or 2 children, you really don't need to update your car and buy a $60,000 SUV. So I think you can really find strategies to really think about these things and avoid these traps. The other tip is to use public transportation. You know, not having a vehicle payment is a great way to save money if you can. So if you live in a city where public transportation is very accessible, that's one thing that you can do to avoid owning a vehicle and having those payments. And that wraps it up. These are the 6 common habits causing you to be broke, draining your bank account, causing you to live paycheck to paycheck, and just robbing you of time freedom. If you resonated to any of these habits, please leave them in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and share this video with someone that may benefit from it. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.